Well, hi there once again. Michael here from Leaderscape. And we are in a really interesting season right now. That is an understatement, even from an Aussie. I used the word the other day, crisis, but it doesn't seem right anymore. There is clearly still a crisis for many people, health and economically. So I don't want to in any way mitigate or undermine that. But as far as the church is concerned, every lead pastor, look at me right now. You are a legend. What you guys have done in 4 days, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, in pivoting your church to the digital world is amazing. And I'm sure now you're taking a big, deep breath out, and your team, a lot of us, there's a bit of weariness around, to be honest. And I want to pep you up today. I'm delighted to be joined today by Nona Jones. And Nona is, her role at Facebook Global is church partnerships all over the world. Nona, so happy to have you with me today. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. This is a real treat and privilege.
So obviously, this wasn't your first role. You loved Jesus. You had an encounter with God as a young girl, and a pastor and preacher in your own right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is so it's interesting. Before I got into this role, I was recruited. Literally got a call out of the blue on the day I resigned from a job that I loved in faith, because that's what God told me to do. I had never worked in social media or tech before, but I've been in ministry since I was 17. Have been preaching over the last 20 years, and my husband and I pastor a church together. So it's just amazing how what I do vocationally, it really intersects with my passion for God.
That's amazing. I'm sure that's comforting for many pastors all around the world. My wife and I have been doing this for 38 years now, ministry,
Wow.
as you can tell with the grey hair. But every one of them, but to have someone like yourself on the inside of what is an incredible tool for helping people at a time where there's a great deal of uncertainty and fear, to just have a fresh breath of hope. It's amazing. Maybe if we go 39,000 foot view, first of all, just what are some of the big picture, and then we'll drill into some of the detail stuff, opportunities that you think that this particular season affords the church right now? And you're dealing with churches all over the world.
Yeah. So let me first start where I think the biggest opportunity is, and it isn't in the tech space per se. I think the biggest opportunity is actually returning to the biblical model of church. And when I say that, what I mean is, for the longest time, we have essentially defined church as a place that you go. We defined it as a program that takes place during a 60-minute or 90-minute window on the weekend. But I don't see that being the model of church in the Bible. What I see in the Bible is I see a community of people who are knit together by their shared faith in God and followership of Jesus. It wasn't because they went to, the temple on the hill or, the synagogue in the city. It was, we love Jesus, so we are the church. So I think this season has really allowed us to essentially recalibrate with what the Bible has defined as the church, which is the body of Christ. So that to me is the big picture opportunity. Now, when you start thinking about technology, I think the opportunity there is really to think about discipleship digitally. So the other piece that I think gets lost sometimes when we focus so exclusively on the building is when you go to the building for the program, you're just kind of in the audience listening to the message. But discipleship is the relational maturation of your faith, which means you have to be in community with people. And so social technology, really, Facebook is, I'm not being biased, it's the truth. Facebook is the only pure social technology platform because you're creating connections between and among people based on interests. based on needs, based on desires. And that's what social technology is for. So I think, again, at the macro level, this is really a reset for the church, a recalibration on what church is. And then we have the opportunity to use social technology to help people deepen their faith in a digital space.
I want to talk more about that in a moment, because I think that's one of the concerns that particularly people in, my era, from 45 up, and I'm 45 plus tax plus VAT, a whole lot of other kind of tack-ons. But how can we really use this to disciple people, to really move them along a journey? But if I can just, I love what you said there. If we lined up 100 pastors and said, do you believe that the church is a building? Probably 99% would say no, absolutely. Right. My philosophy is that, what you're saying is true. What I'm seeing is, for many of us, a divergence of philosophy and praxis. So the philosophy is, we believe that. But actually, and again, I'm not against buildings. We work with many great churches with amazing buildings that God and people's generosity have supplied. But almost the presence of a building, everything about it implies the come to church thing. Even when you invite someone, hey, come to church.
That's right.
And again, that's not wrong. It's just not enough. Whereas become the church, I think we've got an opportunity to really ingrain that biblical narrative about who we actually are. What about some of the obstacles that you're hearing about or seeing in the hearts of us as lead pastors? And again, my premise is you guys are fantastic, and girls are fantastic what you've done. So I really want to help you here. Here's a person that this is her role. She's speaking to pastors all over the world from the standpoint of opportunity here. What are some of the things that get in the way of the opportunity that might be presenting itself right now, Nona?
Well, here's what I'll do. I'll put on my pastor hat on top of my Facebook hat, because in order to answer this question, I really want you to understand that I'm not answering it in a theoretical, abstract way. I'm answering it based on someone who walks in these shoes. So let's just be honest. Like, it is gratifying when you are preaching before an audience, right? Like, it's gratifying when there are people who are saying, preach, Nona, or that's good.
No.
Right? Like, at the end of the day,
believe anything in me?
Of course not. But that's frankly human nature. And I think because that is gratifying to us, if you think about the way that many churches even measure their success, it's really about attendance, right? It's about attendance. How many people are coming? How many people are coming week over week? How many people are coming year over year? And so, for those of us who are the ones on the platform, if we're just honest, that matters. And the second part of it, of course, is, the giving side of it. So there are many people who may not have a super robust electronic giving program. I know that there are some churches that 80% of their budget is electronically given, and that's amazing and that's incredible. But the vast majority of churches are kind of like, week to week, whatever's put in the offering plate is what they're living off of. And because of that, the idea of online church or digital ministry is something that has been, frankly, a bit intimidating, because the question that arises in people's minds is, well, and I heard this many times with pastors I talk to, well, if I live stream, people are going to stop coming to the building.
Yeah.
And the first thing I would always say to that is, okay, well, you're not live streaming now. How is that working for you? And they would say, well, attendance has been declining or it's sporadic. And so I said, okay, so you think you're solving a problem by not leveraging technology, when in fact, not leveraging technology is actually contributing to your problem. So for those of us who are in these leadership roles, I totally get it. But what I would say, which is really a beacon of hope in this situation, is those people who have now been forced to go completely online,
100%.
they've been blown away
Yeah.
by the viewership, the engagement. I've talked to people whose giving has gone up in this season. You know, they're seeing 30% more giving, 20% more giving. And so I think it really is about how do you steward the moment given to you, and how do you make sure the tools that have been built for your use are actually serving God's kingdom. Let me say this too before I stop. So it's really important when I talk to a lot of leaders, their first question when it comes to social media is typically, well, how do I get more followers? I want to get more followers.
Yeah.
The thing I need you to understand, and this is my heart, it doesn't matter how many followers you have if those followers are not following Jesus through you.
Come on.
You have to be a conduit. You have to be a road that leads to the cross. And so if the only thing that we're accomplishing is we're getting more and more followers, but we're not actually like leading those followers, then we're failing. So I just want people to get that mindset, because I think that's how we really take advantage of the moment God has placed before us.
I absolutely love that. I love it. As we move, and obviously the season we're at right now, there's going to be a hybrid at some stage. Different governors are speaking about relaxing restrictions, but I heard it described the other day as it's not like a light switch is going to come on and then we're back. It's
right.
more like a dimmer switch. And so we could be in this phase in the in-betweenies, if I can say that, for probably 3 or 4 more months, I would say. And provides an opportunity to still engage the digital world before everyone packs away and goes, oh, thank God we're back in the building. What are some of as we move more back into the physical world, the gathering, what are some of the things that you think will need to evolve to embrace the digital learnings of the last couple of months?
Well, I think one of them is we have to begin thinking in terms of not just we put so much energy and so many financial resources into the 60-minute program that we may do multiple times on the weekend, but there's 168 hours in the week. And so I think we have to begin thinking about how do we optimize for the 168 hours versus for just the 1 hour or maybe the 2 hours on the weekend. And that's really where I think social technology becomes such a powerful lever, because it never turns off. You are not constrained by a meeting date or place or time. And I think that's frankly one of the challenges that many churches have is, you say you have like a program or a workshop that you're doing, or maybe you have like a growth track or a new member program. Well, in order to participate, people typically have to come to your building on a time and a day. Well, if it doesn't work for them, I guess you just lose out on those people. Whereas social technology now, you don't have to have a date, time, or location. You can use these tools in order to meet people where they are. So I think that's really the mindset we have to have, is using these tools to meet people where they are.
Oh man, I love that. I really, really do. I think that, churches are starting, because we work with churches of thousands, and the next moment I can be talking to a pastor who's faithfully stewarding 80 people. Yeah. It's just so much fun, actually. And so obviously different resourcing levels and so forth. What are the best practices you're seeing, almost regardless of resources? Because I think this is a great leveler. This is an opportunity. Church of 120, because they can't tell the difference through that little green or blue light or whatever thing is looking at you right now, between them and, in a way, Elevation Church, Steve Furtick or Brian Houston at Hillsong or whatever. And so this is a great opportunity in terms of communicating online, which is a more general thing. I'll get more specific about Facebook in a minute, because I really do want to talk about some of the new initiatives that provide an opportunity for churches. But what are some of the things you feel like is really connecting online through Facebook right now?
Yeah, well, I think your point is good, and I think we all need to realize this. Number one, COVID-19 is essentially the great equalizer, because now, no matter how many members you have, no matter how many facilities you have, no matter how much money you have, we're all in the exact same boat. And so I think, honestly, the differentiator at this point is how you engage with the people who are either, watching your live stream, or connecting with your page, or who have joined your group. It's really about how are you using tools like Zoom and things of that nature to have those small group conversations. How are you thinking creatively about, bringing people into your church experience who may not normally be a part of it? So I think that's really how the differentiation happens, is through engagement. And that's what social technology is all about. Many people have used social technology like broadcast technology. And the difference is, broadcast technology is, I have a message, I want to send it to you. That happens on a Sunday, right? Social technology is, I have a message, I want to send it to you. You receive the message and you send a message back to me. And that person over there heard the message and now they have something they want to say. And this person over here heard the message and now they want to be in the conversation. So it's really about creating a conversation versus just sharing content.
I love it. And I think that's apart from the, depending on the style of church, apart from the holler back at you kind of deal,
right?
When you're preaching, and that can be more muted in some settings than others. This idea of conversational language, and I'm even recommending as part of the broadcast, get someone active in actually responding in some way. If you've had that experience, I'm saying to guys, we're living under the one roof and we're here all the time. And my wife and I had a tiff. I might be understating it the other day. And how did you go? How are you surviving that? Give me a thumbs up. So to get them interacting even on the broadcast, and again, without getting too technical, it even, as I understand, feeds into the algorithm of Facebook going, there's something going on here. Let's kind of elevate that, That's
exactly right. Yeah. It's all about engagement. So there was a time when the thinking was, content is king. And that was true. Like, the more content you put out there, the more likely people were to see it. But now, engagement is emperor. So it's really about how people are interacting with the content. And so you want to be thinking in terms of conversation, not just statements.
I saw something really good the other day, the Olympics of engagement. And they did I'm sure you've heard this, the bronze, silver, and gold. The bronze is the like, the comment is the silver, and the share is the gold medal.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say the share is the gold, but then the friend tag is the platinum, because once you tag your friend on it, then they see it. Now they're tagging other people on it. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's really good. Can you give me some examples of how people are using one of the big challenges has been viewerships are way up. I've been joking with pastors that maybe a bit on the edge, but that viewerships are the new crack for pastors. It's like, bazillions turned up, but they're 3-second and 10-second views.
Right.
Nothing, I'm saying, because they found you. All right? Most are now looking at the 1-minute view as synonymous a bit with the 7-minute assessment of in-person ministry. Someone will keep sitting through your service, but they checked out after 6.5 minutes and going, I'm not coming back here. I don't want to be rude, and that's a kind of a minute in, I don't know who said that, but in online kind of space. What are some of the, so what we're recommending, the big issue was, how do we connect with new people? And we've been running a digital kind of community for 3 years now. And little did I know that was kind of preparing us for what works. I recommended doing a Facebook group that could be like your guest lounge. That's that right. You keep communicating through the broadcast. Hey, I'll see you in there. I'm going to do a live in there in a little bit of a while. You do the little pinned welcome video, have some workers in there connecting with people. Have you seen any other ways that people are solving this really big issue of connecting with some of those 1-minute viewers?
Yeah, no, I think what you said is exactly right. And there's some interactivity features on live, things like polls, which are really cool. So you can actually do polls and get people engaged. And then, yes, I think having a group that you can actually invite people to join, and pinning that group to your live stream and just say, hey, we want you to join the group, click on the link. Those types of things matter, because it's not just about going live. That's the episodic experience. It really is about the relationship, and that's what's going to happen in the group.
Just unpack that for a moment, and then I want to talk about the groups that are proposed, or kind of like the not the alternative to Zoom, but just what's planned there. But you said something very interesting there. Obviously, the Facebook Live is the episode. Pinning that to the group. Just unpack that for me. So
so when you go live, you can actually share the link to the group in a comment, and when you share it in a comment, you can actually pin that comment to the live. And so people who join the live, everybody will see that comment. Hey, here's the link to our group. Please join it. They'll see it as they join the live stream.
Very good. Very good. This has also opened up the world to many local churches. People are, some of the pastors saying, oh my gosh, Spain checked in. We've got about 15 people in Spain. I want to go to Spain. We'll go to Barcelona. And so, you got any stories about that? About churches just seeing the world open up, the nations open up, in addition to their local, physical, community-based ministry?
Oh, that's exactly right. I mean, we see it at our church, and our church is not a large church. We have like a couple hundred members, so it's not a large church, but we see people coming in from, Nigeria and India, and it makes you wonder. It's like, how in the world did you find us? But honestly, I think that's the beauty of this online church environment, is people who would not normally have any reason to fly from India to Gainesville, Florida, to go to Open Door Ministries are suddenly dropping into service. So it's really been a blessing.
That's so good. So good. Mark Zuckerberg announced something about a week and a half ago. I caught it, might have been earlier than that, but just basically that there was some innovations that were coming down the pipeline to help to facilitate, because again, this is when we go back into the buildings. Please, Pastor, hear us. I know I can speak for Nona. Do not pack your online ministry away. It's not like going into the drawer for the next virus,
right,
or next war, or whatever. Why would you go back? Please. And most are saying, don't just stream your service, an hour and a half, hour and a quarter service with a full 40-minute or 35-minute message. This may be worth, even in a smaller context, allocating some resource of time, so that you actually almost have two, if I can be crass, products. You've got your Sunday product live that you might stream to another campus, but then it may be worth you doing a 45-minute clipped edition where you might even get a practice run at your message at the kitchen table on a Thursday before you preach it on Sunday. Get a millennial to edit it. They'll be able to do it.
Have a millennial do it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the groups and the things that Mr. Zuckerberg announced. Could you enlighten us on that at all?
Yeah. So the product is called Messenger Rooms, and it's essentially a video chat experience that's built into Messenger. So kind of similar to what we're doing now. You'll be able to do that as well. It's going to be released within the next couple of weeks, but we did just a preview announcement of it, so people know that it's coming. And it's really designed to be a way to connect socially with people through Messenger.
Very good. So that'll be coming down the pipeline, and they could be obviously they could be recorded as well. So if someone wants to do a training in that way, whereas Zoom is probably one of the only platforms at the moment to do that. Can you have multiple people on screen in that context, or will it be one person, or what's the plan? Sorry to dive into some of the detail, but these
No, it's okay. Yeah, you can have up to 50 people. So it's pretty robust. But yeah, you can have up to 50 people in the video chat.
That's fantastic, Nona. Listen, I want to honor your time. Any final thoughts about this whole new online community that is really opening up a whole bunch of people where they already live, and we talked about actually the ability of Facebook to target different groups of people that we're wanting to communicate with. We've had one guy, a guy named Jacob Smelzer, who is really helping a lot of pastors with actually doing that. He's built a whole church on social platform. They now meet in person. We're recommending a whole lot of pastors that are in hiatus at the moment that we're heading towards launch. I'm saying launch anyway, launch online before you get a building.
Yeah.
And so this is revolutionizing church planting, campus planting, and a whole lot of other things like that. Any final thoughts for pastors as they're listening and watching in on this?
Just a general word of encouragement. I know that there are a lot of pastors who have been caught completely off guard by this. Many people who have really been questioning, am I capable of leading my church through this? I just want to encourage you, know this, that God called you to lead your church because this was happening, not in spite of it, but because this was happening. And so you have been called and assigned to the role that you have because God knows that you are the right person for this. So when you feel discouraged, when you feel overwhelmed, Philippians 4:6-7 tells us, be anxious for nothing, but in everything with prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, shall guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. So just remember to turn to the word of God, turn to Jesus when you're feeling overwhelmed, but you are absolutely called for such a time as this. So I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me. This has been a wonderful conversation.
No, thank you for your time as well. We appreciate all you're doing to help churches all over the world. And we'll obviously make this available. I guess there are normal, if people want more information, do you have a team that can help, if there are specific questions that people might have?
I do. What I would also suggest, though, is there's a website. It's facebook.com/community/faith, which has a Faith on Facebook toolkit. There's a ton of information on there that my team and I designed to enable churches to be able to do ministry during this season. So please check it out. It's facebook.com/community/faith. And you can certainly connect with me. I'm on social, Instagram, Facebook, etc. My handle is @Nona, not Nora. I do my best to respond to messages, so feel free to reach out as well.
I was intentionally trying to bypass you there, but you're very, very generous.
It's all good.
No, not Nora. Thank you so much for your time. And we really appreciate not only your skill and your acumen in this space, but certainly your heart for Jesus and heart for his church. God bless you, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you. God bless you too.